Score bugs, these little algorithms of code update in real time, that way we know what the score of a game is or how much time is left.
The Shador. We call it the Shador.
It's a staple in the viewing experience of a sports fan, but it wasn't always like that. Before the 90s, televised games didn't have any fancy graphics telling you the score or time. All you would get is some text shown for about 10 seconds at the beginning, halfway point, and end of the game, or after someone scored. Although, most people didn't think too much of it because the commentators were still there to update you. But those commentators weren't exactly reliable, which often left many people who weren't watching from the very beginning quite confused. You know what isn't confusing? The fact that if you get me to 200k... Sorry. If you get me to 200k before the end of the year, I will give you the goods. That's right. San Marino episode 2. So, if you want to see your boy get absolutely mentally drained and destroyed for your pleasure, get me to 200k before 2024. Sky Sports had just locked in the TV rights for the inaugural 1992-93 Premier League season. Before the season in August, however, producer David Hill recalled his time watching a match in LA. He had gotten home from walking the dogs and wondered what was the score. And for 20 whole minutes, the commentators didn't update the viewers at all. Hill thought about how if you were at a game, you could see the score easily, so why should people watching at home not have the same privilege? So with the brand new Premier League season on the horizon, Hill did just that with this very score bug. No one knew it at the time, but this light blue rectangle telling us such basic info would change the way we watch sports forever. Just 2 years later, ESPN and ABC were trying to find ways to satisfy their sponsors for the 1994 World Cup. Normally with American sports, there's a commercial every 5 nanoseconds. However, with football obviously, there aren't any breaks until halftime. So taking a page out of Hill's playbook, ESPN created this score bug with alternating logos throughout the match.
Caligiuri overlapping on the far side, sends it inside, it's an own goal!
This own goal that led to someone's murder was brought to you by Snickers. However, this was the first ever instance of a score bug being used in the US, and it quickly spread. You might know the network Fox for one of 3 things: The Simpsons, Evil, and the NFL. In 1994, Fox had rights to NFL games, and David Hill would introduce a score bug called the Fox Box. It was pretty basic, just like the 1992 score bug. Now what if I told you this prompted 5 death threats? Naturally, there were more valid criticisms, but nevertheless, Fox kept the box. Growing up, I gained an early interest in score bugs, but more specifically, score tickers from NASCAR races. Unlike normal score bugs in stick and ball games, NASCARs were more colorful, and I was like 5 years old. Perfect recipe. While a little different, score tickers pretty much provide you the same information. What is everyone's live position? How many laps are left? I've been a fan of many different designs throughout the NASCAR ticker's evolution. NBC's mid-2000s ticker might not have aged well, but it still holds a special place in my heart. However, it was 2007 when Fox completely changed the game with number fonts.
That's what I'm talking about.
Some of my favorites include ESPN in the late 2000s and early 2010s, Fox's Stroke of Genius from 2011 to 2013, and NBC's from 2016 to 2018. But I've also seen some hot garbage. Trash, if you will. I mean, who doesn't love their racing with a side of 9 to 5 and a cubicle, right? Either way though, you probably can tell that I have a very weird interest in this kind of stuff, and if you're still not convinced somehow, here's a ticker I made. This was from like 4 or 5 years ago. You think my magnum opus was PSG or a failed promposal? No, it was this work of art. Enough of that though, let's segue into the main topic of this video, the Premier League score bugs over the years. Of course, it all started with the Sky Sports light blue rectangle, which lasted 2 seasons. Then the 1994-95 season, Sky changed the color to gold and added a semi-transparent black fill-in. That way it was just easier to actually see the score. In the following season, Sky decided to shrink it a little bit and use a lighter yellow. 96-97 saw another minuscule change. It was white now. Sky decided to change the entire overlay in 1997-98, and as you can see, it looks like the Fox box. As far as I know, I don't think anyone sent death threats for this one. Branding started to make its appearance in 1998-99 when the score bug aligned with the overall Sky Sports TV graphics package. Then right before the new millennium, they made it white again. While it was probably difficult to know what the time was, at least you could see the score crystal clear now. That one lasted for 2 seasons, and then in 2001, Sky introduced an even more legible looking score bug. You could see the time now, while the text for the score was white on a clean navy background. 2002-03 was the start of the Barclays era era of scorebugs. This one was pretty much just 2001-02's, but a different color scheme with a little Barclays boomerang. 03-04, the season of the Invincibles. I was 3 years old, so I wasn't aware of any of this happening at the time. I gotta say though, this was just too much. This looks like a rocket ship from like a cursed 2000s kids show. 2004 saw the modernization of the Barclays Premier League logo, and with it a brand new scorebug, one that looked much cleaner than the original Barclays overlays. And finally, we started to see some consistency as this lasted until 2007. It should be mentioned, by the way, there were other scorebugs from the likes of Sky Sports, but to keep this less confusing, we're sticking to the official scorebugs. I will say though, the 2005-06 Prem Plus scorebug, it's just golden. In 2007, the Premier League oversaw a slight makeover to look more with the times, and the scorebug also changed to this work of art. Probably one of my favorites, and I wasn't even watching the sport at this point in my life. This was also the first time we saw colors next to the teams to signify which team was which. Unfortunately, for the next few, we're just gonna have to use images, that way the Premier League doesn't claim this video in a heartbeat. 2010 scorebug is seen by many as the pinnacle of Premier League scoreboards. There's a lot more differentiation with a solid white background for the club names and dark navy for the time. It's just much easier for the eye to track. Another rebrand in 2013 for the Premier League's logo meant, of course, a new scorebug. I don't know why, but Barclays were really into their glossy phase at this point. For me, I don't really associate this scorebug with TV. I more so associate it with FIFA 15, which is the only way I'll be able to show you this. Quickly off topic, I know this is the Premier League scorebugs video, but I need an excuse to shit on Fox's FA Cup scorebug. Man, what the f was this? Anyways, in 2016, the Premier League had another complete overhaul of their branding. For the first time since 2003, the Premier League no longer had a title sponsor. And like I said countless times now, and with it, a new scorebug was created. While I liked the new branding of the Premier League, the scorebug itself was... it was okay. On one hand, it just feels kind of bland in its generic rectangular overlay, but it somehow also just looks a bit jarring with the colors. Thankfully, the NBC scorebugs were much cleaner, and this might be a slight unpopular opinion, but I think this is one of the best Premier League scorebugs ever. It's really simple, I really like how each team has a block indicating what color they're wearing, and not to mention, club badges. That's a perfect touch. Finally, we arrive in the 2023-24 season, and before, the Premier League had a couple little touches to their branding. Nothing too crazy, just more gradients than solid colors. But this is what prompted me to make this video in the first place, because once more, the official Premier League scorebug was changed. And this is what it is now. What the f is that? If scorebugs were politicians, this would be George Bush, because this is nothing but a war crime to my eyes. I mean, for decades, we have seen the scorebug go from a simple box to a staple of sports television. Every few years, the aim is to find a way to make it more aesthetically pleasing. It's become its own art form. So how the f have we fallen this far? It's like the Premier League just pulled an April Fool's joke. I can't believe the world has to associate the Premier League lion with the f***ing dash sign. Corporatism has gone too far. That last part was a joke, but seeing this in the top right corner all season, even bigger joke. But not only is this uglier than Ian Miles' Let me take a step back. The scoreboard can actually be kind of hard to read, which is kind of funny because this is a problem you would associate with the 90s. Not f***ing now. Take a look at this screenshot for a second. I've completely removed all of the game, you just have the score bug. You can't even see who Arsenal are playing. Hell, from far away, you probably couldn't even tell the damn score. This isn't the only instance, by the way. You got a bunch and many more waiting to cause atrocities to your pupils. Also, La Liga changed their score bug recently. I don't even have words, man. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to rant for a second about the Premier League score bug because no one's done it. And I feel very passionate about these types of things. But hopefully you still enjoyed the video because I didn't want to just do like a rant. I wanted to kind of give you some backstory because, you know, like I said, this is a topic that I'm really passionate about. This was also really fun. I haven't done these types of like useless rants in a while. But of course, a massive shout out to all our patrons, of course, including Janos Barash, Stin, Miliway009, Anazir Makalongkom, Aldipu, Alex Rod, Ulta, Anaya20, Araisan, Chris Damasceno, Daniel Ortiz, Francisco Hernandez, Hysteria, Joao Carvalho, Josh Budd, Marco Fujimoto, Miguel Munoz, My Man, Return Fire, Rory Burns, Sliderkit, Sniffers, Taco Okafan, Tana Permilia, Celine Khan, Tomicus, Victor, A1KLCF, Chris Visconti, Dominic Griffin, Lewis, Joe Paricio, Asensio, Lucian von Croix, Michael Nista, Nish, Patrick Barley, Rowan Cookie, Sylvia Citrus, subscribe to Tendetem, Unbroken Persona, and Valencia 14. If you'd like to join the Patreon, there'll be a link down below and up in the annotations. You can follow my Twitter if you want, follow my Instagram if you like, follow my TikTok if you want, and of course you can follow my Twitch that's not exactly going to be active because I'm probably in Asia right now. But until then, I'll see you guys.